What up, YouTube Live? How's it going, everybody? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment. Happy Friday night. Right now it's April 26th, 2019. And wow, it's pretty late at night. I might just crash to bed after watching, after doing this review. Um, I just watched the latest episode of Warrior. Oh my God, I love this freaking show. Have you watched it yet? It's on Cinemax every Friday night, y'all. And good news, Cinemax just recently officially renewed Warrior for a second season. So we, the fans of this show, will get another year of Warrior. It's going to be awesome. So that's wonderful news. All right, so just a heads up before I move forward, with just like with all or most of my TV reviews and most of my episode recaps, this review also contains spoilers. So heads up, spoiler alert! You've been warned. There will be some spoilers in this one. This review is mainly for those of you, my fellow Warrior fans, who have also watched tonight's episode. Okay. Um, Let me give you the context, and then I'll give you my thoughts about it. I gotta go straight for what truly matters, man. Last Sunday, one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones, Arya Stark, finally had some sex. she 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 got it going for her, man. It's awesome, It's like you're rooting for her, you're cheating, and the way she also kind of initiated it. It was so straightforward. There was no dancing around or walking on eggshells about it. And tonight, my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters, Assam, uh, in for lack of a better description, got his dick wet. Um, so tonight we see Assam have sex with Penelope Blake, who is the mayor's wife, and my goodness, scandalous. But we saw it coming, right? You and I saw that coming. You can tell that Penelope, because she is in this unhappy marriage that was arranged due to business contract, as she reveals in tonight's episode. Um, she doesn't really love her husband, so she's one of those. She's one of the many spouses out there that feels like their need is unmet. And here comes this handsome Chinaman, defending her honor against the brute Irish thugs in the previous episodes. I mean, like, it basically writes itself, man. um, Not white, but he's definitely a shining armor kind of guy that rescues the damsel and that pretty much swoons her. And so again, we saw that coming, but tonight it is so funny, the whole setup, because she summons him through her assistant. So he comes to her apartment or this building that she's in, and they have this little small talk about painting and where'd you come from? How'd you learn to speak English? And then um, Assam reveals about his grandfather, so we get to know that about his past. And then Penelope, of course, shares to Assam about her ordeal. And then at one point, just voila, you can tell Penelope's just like itching to just jump on that thing, man. And kudos to the actress Penelope Blake. She really sells it. Not Penelope Blake. I'm sorry, the actress who plays Penelope Blake. Her name is Joanna Vanderheim. Fantastic actress. She really sells it. She really um, can make that face like a kid in a candy store who just can't wait to just chow down on that chocolate bar, man. She's like very stereotypical though. A lot of romantic dramas and comedies when the characters are about to have sex, they do have that face as well. Um, and kudos also well to the guy who plays Assam, Andrew Koji, for playing that off just as well as Joanna did. So I want to, and Bruce Lee is I've already mentioned to you in the review of the first episode or the pilot episode of Warriors, of the history of how um, Bruce Lee wanted to sell this pitch, but at the time during that era, unfortunately, the studio execs were kind of racist, and they're like, "No, we can't sell this. Nobody's gonna watch a show with a Chinese guy as the lead." Um, so, but but here we are, 2019, finally, and I think the whole Assam relationship with Penelope Blake, it's a forbidden relationship because she's married, and on top of that, she's white and he's not white, in a society where that is looked down upon. So it's forbidden in so many levels, and I think if it gets found out, not only that Mayor Blake will rain hell on her and him, both of Assam and Penelope, but she might get outcast by her father too. Um, so, and as I was seeing that scene, um, I can't help but think, wow, okay, it's sort of like a not necessarily Romeo and Juliet thing, but it makes sense for Assam to have this relationship or to have this romance or fling, whatever you want to call it, with Penelope, because it adds to the drama. Now it adds to that layer against it, it adds to the complication of the matter. Just like as Assam's sister explains tonight in the episode, uh, apparently she has eyes and ears everywhere. So she's waiting outside Penelope Blake's building, and Assam gets caught basically by his sisters. Like, what am I gonna do with you? He says to Assam like, I told you to leave. You don't want to leave back to China, and then you get yourself arrested, and now you're screwing not just a white woman, but the mayor's wife. Like, what am I gonna do with you? Um, and but the thing is, I can't help but to think back again. Like, if here's the thing, Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee was married to a white woman, um, and I'm Asian, um, and in our culture, it's not about racism thing. Is this expected usually from our previous generations or fathers or mothers and parents, grandparents? It's expected to for us to generally marry or be with our own kind. And I don't know how it was in Bruce Lee's era, if that was a controversial thing for him to marry a white woman at that time. Um, what was it, 60s, 70s? Um, but generally, culturally, it's not really looked down upon, but it's like, really? Of all the women, you got to go for the white one? Can't you marry, this lovely Asian girl next door, like the one that the daughter of this businessman I've been working with, something along that line. And so when I see that with Assam and Penny tonight, I can't help but have that in my thought. As an Asian man myself, so it's interesting to say the least. Definitely. but but it kind of honors also the idea that this show is based on the writings of Bruce Lee, who himself was married or had a relationship with a Caucasian woman. Okay, so that's enough of that. But the episode tonight, for the majority of it, mostly deals with Bill O'Hara. Bill O'Hara is this corrupt cop. Remember, I told you in previous reviews, and he has this partner, cop partner, Lee, who is from the South, and Lee is an idealist. Lee is all about right and wrong. Lee is actually a very good detective, and Lee, deep down, he doesn't like how things are run in the police department or in San Francisco in general at that time. And so tonight we see Bill O'Hara's gambling, pretty much, his worst part of it, the worst side of his gambling. Like, at one point, he gets beaten up in the alley by this muscle guy who works for this casino that Bill loses a lot of money to. And for those few minutes, we, the audience, kind of feel a bit of sympathy or empathy toward Bill. But after that, the next scene and on, we're like, he's an a-hole. Who cares if he doesn't? If who cares if he's not able to pay his what he owes? Who cares if he gets beaten up? You know, I just wasted my empathy on him. He's an a-hole. And I mentioned to you in a previous episode or previous review that the motivation of Bill is a bit complicated. Yes, he's a racist, but also he he feels suffocated. He doesn't want to be in charge of Chinatown, and so his prejudice, on top of or on top of his prejudice, there's also this feeling of like, God, I hate this place. Why can't I get out of this? So that, I think, that is where the self-loathing, much of it, comes from. Um, Whereas Lee, this guy, man, in this episode, we see eventually him telling Bill, "Hey, you know what? You're the veteran. You've been here longer than I've been. You know the roads better than I do. Um, I'm gonna keep my head down and just let you do your thing." And so I fear that Lee, not that Lee has been corrupted, but Lee has become one of those people who is inherently a good cop, but he will be like, see no evil, hear no evil type of guy. If something happens, I fear that he might not intervene because he now makes that not pledge, but sort of an understanding to Bill about he made that understanding clear to Bill tonight about how you know what, this is how it is in this town. So me as a guy from the South coming in, I'm not gonna be ruffling any feathers or rocking any boat anymore. And that's a shame because as a fan, I was kind of hoping that Lee would end up as a character that if needed be he would stand up in the defense of Assam. Um, I guess I have this sort of like fantasy, like maybe either Lee would help Assam or Assam would help Lee, in trying to clean up the city. But then we're gonna go, but then we're going into the Green Hornet territory. um, okay, let's talk about the mafia. There is one character tonight who showed up that was I was like, when I saw it, I was like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? That guy looks familiar. And he showed up, I think, in previous episodes as well. Like, who is that? I can't place his face. And then I looked him up. Guess what? It's actor Dustin Nguyen. Come on. Come on, my fellow 21 Jump Street fans, huh? Dustin Nguyen is in this film. I mean, in this series. Oh my God. He plays the role of Zing. Oh, and he looks so not old but mature. You know, he I, he definitely doesn't look like the Dustin Nguyen I remember from 21 Jump Street. So, but there are parts of it where it kind of like I know that face, but that face doesn't look similar as it was back in the early '90s anymore. So Dustin Nguyen is in this show. How awesome is that? And so My Ling um, makes a move on this. I guess you could say rival gang. Well, anyway, she wants to make a proposition, but this guy doesn't want to have anything to do with it. I mean, he even insults her right, in front of her, and so she poisons him, and then right after Zing like kills everybody that is connected to him, he sits down and he becomes the representation or representative of that rival gang. I forgot what they're called. And he's like, I hear you have a proposition. So now, oh my god, that's amazing. I gotta give credit, man. Myling is a fantastic um, mob leader. I guess you can call it. I guess you can call her mob boss. She's good. She's very. What's the word I'm looking for? She knows how to play people. She knows when it's time to kill off an opponent, when it's time to threaten, or when it's time to cut them some slack. She Myling is the kind of character who has been immersed in this world for such a long time that she knows the ropes inside and out. And that's why Myling tells Assam in the wagon in tonight's episode, like, I don't want to leave back to China. I don't want to go home. I'm nobody in China. But you're nobody here. And you know what? Myling is right. Um, and and she's also right in that a turf war or gang war is about to happen, the Tong Wars. And the fact of the matter is, her brother is on the other side, not on her side, not on her gang, but on the opponent's side. So so there's that. In addition to the fact that Assam has a fling with a white woman, so this on top of this on top of this on top of this, it complicates the situation even more for the characters and makes the drama even much meatier and much more intriguing. um oh and lastly, I want to discuss about the brothel raid. My god, so tonight there's a scene where the cops raided the brothel, and one of the head cops shoots one of the Chinamen, yeah, he shoots one of the China guys right in the head, drop dead, and and they all laugh, because they're all racist. and, and what's interesting is that they, in that process, they rush to take all the white people out of that brothel, like, get out, get out, get out, because they don't want to arrest the white folks. So it's like, no, get out, get out. We just want to arrest the slant eyes one. They call slant eyed ones for the Chinese. It's a derogatory word, obviously. So it's a very very bigoted operation, man. Holy crap! And they, under the direction of Buckley. Buckley is this god awful character who is trying to make or who's trying to take advantage of bigotry. Under his direction, the cops basically, not only do they arrest these Chinese guys and cut off their hair, their long hair, but they also um, show them off, I guess you could say, in front of the media. So the media will have to, like, write headlines about, hey, the Chinese culture is assaulting the American culture. Um, and man, they really know how to work the media to their advantage. And when I see that whole sequence, I can't help but think, like, my God, things today in this current world, the current state of affairs in our country right now, is no different than how it was back then. It goes to show that um, we are really slow to evolve as a nation. The fact that the powerful can always continue to manipulate media, and that the media can be the powerful's stenographers instead of functioning as um, an estate that holds the powerful accountable. I mean, it just kind of, when you watch that and you remember how it is done also today, it kind of makes you feel a bit discouraged and disheartened. It's like, oh man, turns out it's not that far different back then to what it is today. We haven't evolved much at all. um so but that's an angle also that the show wants to give you, to emphasize the corruption of the system, the corruption of the justice, criminal justice system, the corruption of the media. And it's gonna be like a pot, like a kettle that slowly but surely it's gonna blow. It's gonna blow. It's gonna really, I'm assuming it's gonna happen probably nearing the season finale. And and I think Assam is gonna get caught in the middle of that with Penelope Blake. And on top of that, I also want to watch the Yellow Demon fight, because the Yellow Demon, we are introduced to that character. I think Rich Sting plays that character, Bolo, the Yellow Demon. And I like his origin story, but because the fight is in the water, it's not as, I don't know. I don't find it to be appealing. It seems too brute, and the way he kills his opponent too. It's like, I want something more elegant than that. I want something more, not necessarily elegant. Maybe that's not the right word for it. But something's not set in the water, so we can see. I'm curious to see Assam versus the Yellow Demon. I want to see how that fight goes, and I hope it doesn't happen in the water, because it's just gonna be pretty shitty to watch. You can only do so much choreography wise in the water kind of fight. Um, but it's cool that we're introduced to the Yellow Demon as well now. I think the writers, little by little, are giving you a little bit of the backstory of some of the supporting characters that might not have as much screen time, just to give you that tease, so you can remember it on the back of your head when the time comes later on, or in subsequent episodes, when that does need to get brought up again, whether it's a Sam versus the Yellow Demon fight, or whatever it may be, whatever the situation may be. Um, so shout out real quick to Olivia Chang, who is now one of my favorite actresses, because Olivia Chang stars in this show as Atoy, who is a badass brothel boss. And she also stars in one of my other favorite shows, Deadly Class, on Sci-Fi. So it's just so cool, man. When your favorite talent, or when your favorite actor or actress is employed in more than one of your, I mean, yeah, two or three of your favorite shows. Like, wow, I get to see her here and I get to see her there. That's so cool. So overall, let me conclude this review by saying what another fantastic episode. Um, I hope it. Not I hope. I wish it's on cable though, man. I wish this show was on basic cable. No offense to Cinemax, but unless you subscribe to HBO or Cinemax, you might not get to see Warrior, and that's a shame, because I want every eyeball to check out Warrior. So I encourage you guys, if you happen to have Cinemax, please give this show a chance. You will like it. You will love not just the fight, not just the drama, but just some of the things that I observed in tonight's episode. You will observe that too, and you'll find it fascinating Very, very intriguing to say the least. All right. So thanks so much for tuning in on this live review of Cinemax Warrior Season 1, Episode 4, titled The White Mountain. If you have seen it too, and whether or not you agree or disagree with my assessment of this episode, share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm curious to hear what you think of this episode. Let me know your thoughts down below. Support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Ah, Warrior makes my Friday night alive. Let's rock this.